if people don't know what that is, it's everyday carry. It could be everything from your car keys and your wallet and your cell phone at the very minimum. But then other people, they'll carry like a flashlight, a pocket knife, concealed carry, open carry. Um, what do you do? What's your EDC? And what would you recommend for the everyday average American for EDC?
Tourniquet versus having to use a firearm are far more, and so you may have to render aid to somebody. And even if you don't know how to apply that tourniquet, somebody there will probably know. So a tourniquet, okay, emphasize that.
So,
But
for people that don't understand the use of a tourniquet or what it is, briefly explain that. And that's very important because a laceration to your artery in your arm or the inner part of your thighs, that it doesn't have to be even a stab wound or a gunshot wound. I mean, people fall off ladders and go through a window, get a laceration, and all of a sudden they have an arterial bleed. And it only takes a couple of minutes to bleed out and you're gone. You're dead. So you have to stop that. I agree 1,000%. I have, I don't know, a dozen tourniquets like in every part of my house, my truck, my wife's purse, on my person, like and then I also have a med kit as well, which came in and it has come in handy many times. One time me and my wife came out from shopping and this older gentleman was coming out from a bar which was next to the store, and he was really drunk. He fell down and he smashed his head on the curb and he's just gushing out blood. And I had a trauma kit in the truck, so I was able to go and render first aid to him until the ambulance was able to arrive and take him to the hospital. But yeah, again, medical supplies, that's my biggest EDC item because you never know when you're going to need it. Exactly.
that's part of my EDC. Now, sometimes I have a blade on my body because it's very small, it's slimline, like it doesn't print or anything, but it's like my last kind of go-to item, even if I can't get to my gun that's in a bag. You have to kind of establish, you kind of have to assess your pattern of life. And then this is a core principle that I teach is, what does your pattern of life look like? Mike, you have a pattern of life that I bet is very different from mine. I bet mine's very different from other people. Once you understand your pattern of life, like when you get up in the morning, where do you go? Where do you frequent? Okay, what are the dangers en route to these places, en route to your work? Where do you park? When you come home, where do you go? When you understand your pattern of life, then it kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah, and especially like you need to take into consideration your climate. If you're in the northern climate, you get really cold winters. I remember a long time ago, my mom was driving through Wyoming. She got caught in a blizzard. Her car went off the side of the road. She was stuck in her car for like 3 days. Um, she was not prepared, and she had some medical consequences because of that. I mean, she survived, but she was not prepared properly for that. So also take your environment into it. If you live in an extremely hot environment, make sure you have lots of water in your vehicle. And then I like in my truck, I have two EDC go bags, one for me and one for my wife, because that's usually the only people that's ever in the truck. Our kids are all grown, so they have their own stuff. Um, but we have extra socks, we have heat blankets, we have extra food, we have energy packs, we have uh MyFac medical kit in there, a trauma kit, tourniquets, and it's all very small, very compact. So it doesn't take up a lot. And we have extra jackets and extra blankets because we live in a cold climate during the winter. So I always have those in the truck. So yeah, I would say again, I agree. Just go with what your environment is and what your daily life routine is, whether or not you carry a firearm or you just carry a knife. Like, I mean, I always have a Milwaukee Fastback on me, which is just a little flip out box cutter because I use that thing probably 15 times a day. So, it's kind of just go with whatever it is that you have in your life routine. So, guys, I'm gonna drop the intel on how you can get a hold of this man. If you're tell them where you're at, where they can come to your school and stuff, and then I'll put it in the description as well.